Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're live. Welcome everybody to the Azure and AI Show. With me today is Aaron Ramaswamy, um, and he's going to do some stuff on Azure load balancing, and I'm going to do some stuff. My name is Frank Falvey from Cork in Ireland, and I'm going to do some stuff with Copilot in Microsoft 365. And we might get a chance to do some demos, some live demos with Copilot in M365. So, Aaron, over to you there. Um,
Yep. Thank you, Frank. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks, from wherever you're joining. My name is Arun Ramaswamy. I am based out of India and currently working as working in Azure platform for Evident. Actually, I am an Azure enthusiast and have a penchant for you know. Uh, Exploring various services within Azure. So, as a side option, I generally take sessions for different customer or different people uh, based on what I have learned from my experience or what I have come across recently within the Azure platform. So that's basically about me. And professionally, I have over 16 years of experience, and currently my role is of Azure architect, where I, design, develop, and implement various solutions within the Azure platform for my customers. So on screen, if you see, these are few certifications that I have done here. So I am a two-time MCT or Microsoft certified trainer, and I have also completed the Azure Solution Architect certification along with the network engineering, IAM, and Cosmos DB developer. I have also completed the 104 certification and the Python certifications. So, this would be my LinkedIn profile. If you would like to connect to me to discuss about Azure or any other cloud platform, please feel free to scan the QR code that is displaying on the screen, and you can connect with me at any time. Yeah. So with that, I think we can get started. So today's session is on Azure load balancing options. And as part of this session, I will also be performing a demo for Azure load balancers. Right. So, in today's session, we'll cover about the load balancers. What are the types of load balance in Azure, and a simple demo for Azure load balancing options. Yeah. So now, coming to the load balancers within Azure environment. So before we look into the options, what is actually a load balancer? Why would you really need load balancers now? So with the advancements in various devices like your mobiles, laptops, iPads, and easy access to the internet, people are finding it very easy to access various resources from the internet. So as and when the the user base increases, the business is actually looking for solutions that will help them make their solutions or make their products available 100% 100% of the time for all the users without any sort of latencies. Okay, so if I want to make use or make myself available for a very high amount of time, then Azure provides me with an option called load balancing. So which, when you say load balancing, it basically load or distributes the user request coming into the resources appropriately to the backend web apps, or it can be web apps, it can be database servers, it can be any sort of resources that the user consumes from your network. So this load balancing helps in balancing the loads or the user request that comes into your network. Right. So that is, very simple way of putting what is load balancing. Right. When you talk about load balancing, there are four different types of load balancers. Yeah, and you can basically classify them into two types. One is the non-HTTP type or the TCP request type, and the other one is HTTP HTTPS type, or the layer 7 type. Right. So when we look at the first option, the non-HTTP load balancing, we have Azure load balancers and the traffic manager. So when I say non-HTTP, what does it mean? So the request that comes in does not have any sort of HTTP request. It only contains the IP address, right? You don't have to, go about translating the domains or translating the addresses that comes in with the header request or something. Anything, any of that sort is not required. Okay? The request comes in with the IP address, and the load balancer looks at the header request, identifies the IP address, and then it basically sends the request over to that exact resource, right, that belongs to that IP address. So that is what you call as non HTTP load balancers. Okay, so I would also be showing a demo on the Azure load balancer for you today. So since it is non-HTTPS, in the OSI layer, the Azure load balancer works on or services the request in the layer 4 level, which is the transport layer. So it services all sorts of TCP and UDP requests that comes in from the users. Okay, so because it is meant for high availability, it's a high availability option. This load balancing can handle millions of requests and also ensures high availability by using zone redundancy, which means the solution that is being hosted here can be hosted in multiple zones to ensure even if one of the zone is impacted, the other zone can still service the request that comes in. So that is how load balancer or Azure load balancer ensures high availability for the resources. Okay, so that's all about Azure load balancer, and the second type is called traffic manager. Traffic manager is actually a DNS based load balancer for global availability, right? Right. So this, when I say DNS based, unlike load balancer, the layer 4 option or layer 4 load balancer, the request that comes in is based on the DNS, or you will basically have an endpoint. Right? So that endpoint is then translated into the traffic manager profile, and that traffic manager profile is in turn translated into the individual backend pools. Okay, so that's how the traffic manager works. And again, this is a non HTTP profile or a non HTTP load balancer, and it again works on the layer 4 OSI layer 4 level. Yeah, now again, it provides the same high availability and low latency for all the requests that are being received on its front end. Okay, again, you also can have the zone redundancy for ensuring high availability. Right. The only problem or only disadvantage with traffic manager is, since it works on domain level, it cannot fail over, or it basically takes time to fail over to the other zone or to the other region, because it is global, right? If it has been hosted in different regions or different or if it's spread across globally, it takes time for traffic managers to fail over from one region to the other region in term if whenever you have any sort of outages. So that is the only negative point about traffic managers. Now these are the non-HTTP traffic non-HTTP load balancer options provided by Azure. And now we'll look at the HTTP options. The first thing, first HTTP load balancer is application gateway. So application gateway is basically a regional load balancer, and this again has zone redundancy, and this works on the layer 7 level, or which is the application level, because we are going to get HTTP request, and that HTTP request is going to contain the domain or the URL specific information, which this application gateway is going to use to send the request to the appropriate resources or appropriate servers. Okay, so now this application gateway again uses something called as SSL termination, right? So what SSL termination means is, SSL is nothing but your secure socket layer, right? So whenever you have an SSL request, it basically does a handshake. Okay? So to avoid intense, cycle here, intense, or if it is going to be a high responsive application, then this application gateway provides an option for terminating this SSL offloading, right? SSL offloading, so that the handshake is actually avoided, and the response is quickened, or you have a very low latency for application response. So that is how application gateway ensures you have very high, very low network latency or very low response time. So that is all about your gateway, and the final last one is the front door. Front door again is based on the content delivery network, which is like your cache service. Okay, so it works on the principle of edge networking, or whenever you say edge networking, it is spread across the globe, and it basically services customers from all around the globe. So whenever a request or whenever a customer or a user is trying to access one of the front door application, it the first request goes to the goes to the edge location, and from there all the translation is done based on the resource type that the user is trying to access, and then it is cached on from the front door profile, and then from the edge location it is then transmitted over to the user, right? So since the data is already cached, you always have the option for improved performance, wherein if there are no changes, right, to the content that has already been cached, you the front door will again I mean, it will ensure that the servicing is done from the edge network, and it does not have to again go to the front door profile to download the contents. So that is how front door ensures like your performance is improved, and high availability again is based on the zone redundancy, because you this is a global service, globally available service, and you can have GRS and ZRS. So all the options are available for the front door load balancer. So these are the four types of load balancers which Azure provides. Okay. So now coming on to the next slide, which will show you how to choose a load balancer, right? So basically this is the flow chart. So when you, if it is going to be a HTTP, if it is not going to be a HTTP application, then your option is basically load balancer or the traffic manager. And if it is going to be internet facing, and then globally deployed, it is going to be the Azure front door, right? So you can basically see how you can choose your own, choose the correct load balancing option for your business needs. Okay. There is also a service within the Azure portal where you can choose, or where which you can use to choose your own Azure load balancing option, which I'll show you once I start with the demo. Okay, so this is the typical load balancing architecture. So if you see, the architecture looks something like this. So you have the front or the traffic manager acting as the front end, and as the back end or back end pools, you will have the application gateway, which again in turn acts as the front end for the app server scale sets. Okay, if you see here, there are two different scale sets here in two different regions. So since app gateway and load balancers are regional, they are confined to a specific region, and traffic, if you can see, it is global, right? So this is pretty much how a typical web application is designed to have a very high availability for users. Okay? So now coming to the Azure load balancer, so which I would like to actually create right now. So this will be the architecture that I'll be following. You will have a NAT gateway for outbound internet access, because the load balancer does not by default have any sort of outbound access for internet, right? So we are using NAT gateway, and inbound will be through the public IP, front end public IP, and then at the back end you will have two VMs that will actually have an IIS installed in it. And I'll also show you how the page actually loads when we do the options, or when we access the applications, right? So yeah, this is pretty much the intro about the load balancer. Now we can actually get into the demo part for Azure load balancer. So as you can see on the screen here, right? So the left hand option shows the steps that we will be taking, or we will be performing in today's session for creating the Azure load balancer. Okay, now let's go directly to the portal. Okay, so the first step here is to create a NAT gateway. Okay, so now if you, I mean, so when you want to host any service within Azure, the first thing that you will need to do is have access to the Azure portal. Okay, so which is portal.azure.com. So once you go inside the portal, once you have signed up, you will need to have a subscription. So without subscription, you cannot host any sort of services within the Azure environment. So it can be free subscription, it can be pay as you go subscription, it can be MSDN subscription, it can be an enterprise subscription, but you should have some sort of a subscription to help in hosting app or hosting services within the Azure environment. So now first step is to create the NAT gateway for outbound connection. Okay, so I've already created one here to save time, but let me show you how, what are the options that we give. Right, the first step, first screen basically gives you the NAT gateway information. You give the name here for the NAT gateway, and this is for ensuring the zonal availability. and this is for TCP idle timeout. So whenever you have idle timeout, or whenever you have a timeout for getting the request, this TCP resets happen, and then the the connection is actually released for other users to connect. Okay, so I have given here 4 minutes, but you can basically give it for 15 minutes. Okay, now this is the first step, and the second step is the outbound IP. So this is the main step here, because load balancer as such does not have any option for the outbound access to the internet. Okay, so that will happen through the NAT gateway. So you will have to create a public IP address here. So let me quickly create one. Now it's a standard IP, and yeah, pretty much that's it. This virtual network will create later in the next steps. So just review and create. That will help you create the NAT gateway. So that's how this NAT gateway got created. So we are done with the first step. Now if you look at the second step, it is to create a virtual network. Now go to home. You can search for virtual networks. Yeah, here it is, and then click on create. Give the information here, test vnet. I've already created the vnet, but I'm just showing you what are the options that we'll need to give. Now security, we don't have to choose anything, you can leave it default. Okay, so uh, this is the front end or the back end pools that which will host our VMs or the app servers, right? So this subnet is the one which will provide the IP addresses for our VMs that will be creating shortly. Okay, so just create on this edit button, give the name for this subnet as saying LP backend pool, backend subnet, sorry. Right, this should be sufficient, and rest you can leave it as uh, default. Rest you can leave these as default. Now if you look at this, you have the NAT gateway option. So just click on choose the NAT gateway. So, yeah, you can actually leave everything as blank here. Okay, now if I see, this basically says cannot be associated because this NAP gateway is already associated with another virtual network. Okay, but if that gateway is not created, you just simply choose the gateway or NAT gateway that we had created previously, so that the outbound access for the load balancer from this virtual network is established through this NAT gateway. Okay, so once that is done, click on save here, which will save this option here, right? So once that is done, click on next. There is nothing here. Click on review and create. Okay, that will basically create your virtual network. Okay, so this is our virtual network here. Now that is the second step. Third step is to create the load balancer. Okay, now go to home, search for load balancers. Okay, this is the one. So these are the four load balancers that I had previously talked about. So now we are going to do the layer 4 Azure load balancer. Okay, so click on create. I've already created one for this demo purpose, but I'll just show you either ways how to go about creating this load balancer. Now let this be public, because we will need to access the front end load balancer front end IP from the internet. So we will need to give the public IP access. So if your application is not going to be an interface or internet facing application, you can use it as internal. Okay, so rest let it be the default ones. And front end IP, click on front end IP. You can simply give the access here, which we created. You can create a new one here. Keep it as IPv4 IP address. Create a new public IP. Just give the IP name here, test public IP. Click on save, which will create the new public IP address, and then you can click on save, which will add the front end IP configuration here. Okay. Now, coming to the next one. Okay, let's just add one for test purpose. Okay, test front end. Okay. Now I'll so just create new uh, test LB FVIP, right, and then click on save. Click on save here. Yeah, so this will be the front end IP. So this is the one which will give you the IP address for accessing this load balancer. Okay. Now click on backend pools. Backend pools is nothing but your the VMs which will be creating in the next stage, right? So you can simply leave it as such, since I have already created the backend pool. So you can use the network, right, VNet network here, and then give the IP address, give the backend pool name as test backend, right? So something like this, and then click on save. This will save the backend. So we'll add the other details later, right? Okay, right. That's done. And then inbound rules. So you don't have any any sort of rules here. Okay. So right, so sorry, this I think you yeah, this inbound rule, basically you will need to create the NSG rule. Okay, because you will need to allow traffic on port 80, on which this load balancer listens for any request. Okay, so you can simply say LB rule. Okay, IPv4, front end IP, back end IP. So this is TCP port 80, port 80. Your health probe, you can simply create a new health probe here. Test HP. You can choose HTTP. This health probe is nothing but this will ensure, or this will test whether the backend is available or not. Right? So just click on HTTP, give the port 80, which symbolizes the HTTP protocol, and interval for which you will do the ping test. Right? So once that is done, click on save. This will save the health probe here, and rest you can just click on this TCP reset, because we had enabled the reset rule in the first place. Okay, just click on enable, and the rest you can keep it as such. Okay. Click on save, which will add the load balancing rule. Okay. Now there are no outbound rule as such, so you can ignore this, and then review and create. Okay, so when you review and create, this will create the load balancer for you. Okay, and if you click on this, click on the front end IP configuration. This is the IP with which you will be accessing the load balancer. Okay, and when you click on backend pools, these are the backend VMs that have been configured. So I mean, the first four you can ignore; they are all not configured. And the resource state here, it says running, right? So it basically says what are the VM that are currently in running state, and if there are any VM that has been shut down or has been taken out of rotation, it will basically say stopped. Okay. So currently we have two VMs running, and both the two VMs added to the backend pool, and both of them are running. Okay, now that is that. So we have created the load balancer. Now we will need to add the virtual machines or the app servers to the backend pools. Okay, to distribute the load. So for that you create two virtual machines. Okay, just go to virtual machine options or search for virtual machines in the search blade, and then you click on create. uh, Create two VMs here. Okay, so I've created these two VMs, and while you create the VM, you can simply add these VMs to the backend. Okay, so if I click on the load balancing option, you can click on add existing, and then you can choose the load balancer to which you would like to add these VMs as the backend, and then click on the load balancer here, right? Yeah. So use the existing. This will be the backend port. So this VM will be added to this particular backend port. Okay. Now since I have already added, I'm not touching anything. Right? Okay. Now, so you have now. Okay, let's just recap what we have done. We have created a NAT gateway. We have created a virtual network. We have created the VMs associated with that virtual network, and we have also created the load balancer and have configured the front end, back end pools, the load balancing rule, and the health probe for the load balancer. Okay, so now the next step is to install the IIS. Okay, so because we would like to test the load balancing option now. So to do that, you will basically need to run these three commands within the uh, VMs. Okay, so just log into the VMs, open PowerShell window. Okay, and then run these three commands. Okay, so what it does is, first command basically installs the IIS for you. Okay, and then second command will remove the default page for the IIS. Okay? And third command will add this IIS start.html, which will basically say hello world from AG test. Okay, so that is the premise of this particular installing the IIS. Okay, so now we have done the IIS as well. I've already completed that in the VMs. So we have installed the IIS as well, and then we have changed the default IIS HTML page as well. Now the only thing that is left to do is test the load balancer. Okay, so as I mentioned, you will need to take out the front end IP address, open a new browser, just put this front end IP, click on it. And if you see, you get this option, which means I am receiving the response from the LBVM1, okay, which is the VM1 option. So because right now I'm not having any sort of loads, only right now VM is servicing the request for me. Okay, so if you have loads here, you will also see something called as LBVM2 here. Okay, which says that the request is being serviced from VM2. Okay, so this is how you actually configure the load balancer here. Okay, so pretty much I think that is what I wanted to actually cover in this session. So secondly, I just want to show you a demo on the application gateway as well. Okay, I won't show the, this I will reserve to the next session. So I'll just show you how how you can access the backend pools from the application gateway. It works on the same principle like your HTTP or the Azure load balancer. So just take out the front end IP, open a new browser, paste it over there, click on enter. So if you see, the request is now coming from VM2. Okay, let's see if you see here, Every time I refresh, you see a different VM here. Okay, which means the request is being serviced from different VMs. Okay, every time you access that particular front end IP address. So this is how your load balancing actually works in the real time situation. Okay. So I think with that I have come to the end of the session. So thank you very much. If there is any questions I will that you would like to pose, I can take it up right now.
Yeah, we don't have any questions yet in the chat, Aaron.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Great presentation and great demo. And you'll be back to do the
Yes,
second
the
half of the
correct application gateway. Yes, Frank.
application
Yes.
gateway. That would be
Ye-
brilliant. Thanks very much. Um, so just for my section of it there, I'm going to do some co-pilot.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
you were asking me some questions on how to actually get it.
Yes.
I'll just share my screen there.
Yep.
And if you can see my screen,
One moment. Yes. Yes, Frank. I can see.
can you see that there? So
Yes.
Copilot Pro is what I'm going to do some stuff on here, just to give some
Mm-hmm.
brief information first. Every week I see something new with Copilot, and if you can see on this page up on the top,
Mm-hmm.
Copilot Pro get 1 month free trial. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so before you can actually get this Copilot Pro, right? I just show you here. You need to have a Microsoft 365 personal account. Um,
Okay. Yep. Yep.
yeah, so
So what's
some
the license level, Frank? I mean, should I actually have the E3 or E3 license should do, or I mean F2 license would do, or should I have E3 or E5 license for this to work?
for this one here, I think the E3 license would do for a
Okay.
personal
Okay.
account, wouldn't
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it? So this is the one I have here myself, which is
Mm-hmm.
the M365 personal, 69
Mm-hmm.
euros a year.
Okay.
Um, and then, or you can have the family account here over on the left-hand side, as you can see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
these are the two prerequisites. I think do you have a business account, Aaron?
Yes, actually, I have the MSDN subscription,
Yeah,
so
so
I have the E5. Yeah.
I'll just
Uh-huh.
I'll just click onto the business one here and you can
Right. Right.
actually
Right.
see.
Mm-hmm.
So customers can choose between different plans. So
Uh,
do you have the premium one? I
I
think.
have the premium one. Yes, E5.
Okay, so that's what all you need. So is to yeah. So this is this one here. Yeah,
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So all you need to get right. I'll just go over to the next screen. Is you need to get this Copilot Pro license. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So Microsoft has a free 1 month. So if you only just wanted to try it out for 1 month and
Uh-huh.
see how you go with it, $20. I'm not sure how much it's in India, but it's like 20 euros here.
Probably 1,000. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like $1 is around 80. 1:80. Yeah. So
Okay.
probably comes around 1,600. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're the two prerequisites anyway. You have
Okay.
to have Microsoft 365 account
Mm-hmm.
and you can sign up then to Copilot Pro. And when you sign up, then this is my account here.
Okay.
And this is what's inside. Um, you got your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, like everything inside in your account that you'd normally
Uh-huh.
have. So I just go into Word and I'll just show you the difference. So up on the top right hand corner here, you get this Copilot.
Mm-hmm.
So this is inside my account here of the Copilot.
So this
So
is Word, right? Microsoft Word.
this is Microsoft Word with
Okay.
Copilot.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you can
Yep.
see the little Copilot over here on the left hand side.
Ah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So if I get some text, one second now. So I have some text here already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm just going to paste that in here. So say if you want to rewrite this or get a summary of it, you can click on the Copilot here on the left,
Okay.
and it gives you an option, a drop-down option there, if you want to visualize it as a table or if you want to rewrite it. So we'll just give it a rewrite just for a second, just to see what will it come up with.
Okay.
So for the first line, it's after rewriting. Every time it rewrites something for you, it gives you three options.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see there, for embracing the future of writing with Microsoft Word's Copilot,
Yep.
after coming up with how Microsoft Word's Copilot will change writing for the better. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
if you like that, you can go with this, or it gives you three options. So the second one, then look, it's after changing the top line to, instead of embracing the future of writing with Microsoft Word Copilot, it's given us this, facing the
Mm-hmm.
future of writing with Microsoft Copilot. So whichever one you like, you can go with.
Ah. Yes. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's it. Rewrote it three times. So if you want to
Mm-hmm.
replace it, you can hit on this button. So
Mm-hmm.
we just keep it for now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just click down the bottom of the page and it goes away. So if I click on the Copilot up in the top right hand corner here,
Mm-hmm.
it opens up a section here on the right hand side. So it's giving us an option like, here are some things you can try. You can ask it a question
Mm-hmm.
about the document, or it's
Mm-hmm.
giving us other options down here. Is there call to action? So the other two things here, you can write a question in here, or you can click on the microphone and use the microphone, or
Uh-huh.
this little box here, the square one, is view prompts. So I just click on that, because I think we kind of had a discussion earlier. It's all about
Mm.
the prompts, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So if it's giving us these options there, understand or ask, and if you
Mm.
click on view more prompts,
Mm-hmm.
it brings you up this window here. And if you want to summarize the document into 3 points, understand it quickly, list the pros and cons, or down at the bottom, then it gives you an option here, see more prompts. So I'm just going to go into that just to give you an idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's bringing us into Copilot Lab. So this one here has got lots of prompts. So like up in the top section here, it gives us a drop down window. So if you want to just use it in PowerPoint, you can click on PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay.
So just highlight. And if you want to go over to the categories, then so with PowerPoint, you're normally going to create something. So
Create. Yes.
exactly. So we click on create. So now it comes up with these options, right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So do you want to create a presentation about Hawaii, or do you want, you know, add an agenda slide? It's giving you a few ideas of what you can actually do with it. Down the bottom, quick tips about better prompts, summarize emails. lots of stuff you can do with it. So let's
Mm-hmm.
go back here and we just go Outlook. And so with Outlook is your email. So what do you want to do? You can create emails. So we'll just leave it at create. So create an agenda. So draft an email to homeowners associations requesting permission
Mm-hmm.
to build a new fence or something like that. So look, we'll just click on that just to see um, what it actually given us. Draft an email. Okay, so we'll just click on this one here. I'm just going to copy that, or we can just click down here and copy the prompt.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so we'll just close down the prompts for a minute. We'll go back to my account, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll open up Outlook and we'll see what's it going to do with this prompt.
Mm-hmm.
1 second now. I'll just use this one. See if I remember my password. Oh, no thanks. So I'm already. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it wants to send me an email, my code. So look, we'll forget about the Outlook for now.
Mm-hmm.
So the other one I was talking to you earlier, Aaron, was about the PowerPoint.
Yep, that is what I'm interested as well, because I wanted to create few presentations, but yeah, I don't know,
Yeah,
for some reason it mentioned like it wasn't able to create presentation. So yeah, I would like to actually see how it goes here.
yeah. So this is what you get when you open up first day. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so if I click on the Copilot up here on the top right hand side, it's going to open up another window here with a few options. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the first one is create a presentation about something. So we want to create a presentation, we say,
Right.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
So because of your demo tonight,
Mm-hmm.
as your load balancing,
Right.
right? So I'm just going to finish off
Okay.
the line create about it said you are in Azure
Load balancer. Yeah.
BLA.
Balancer. No, just one N.
Yeah,
Frank.
but you see, sometimes I spell it wrong because Copilot
Okay, deliberately. Okay. Mm.
deliberately, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
to see how smart the Copilot is, right? We'll
Okay,
just
okay. Yeah,
we'll just
we'll see. Mm-hmm.
we'll see what it comes up with now, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes if you use the microphone here and it
Mm.
mightn't pick up your accent properly, it might put in the wrong stuff. So I'll just leave the wrong spelling and we'll just
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what to come
Mm-hmm.
up with. Okay. So you can see it says working on the response, looking things over. It'd be interesting now to see will it pick up the misspelling there.
Mm.
Um, Usually, depending on the size of the topic,
Right.
you would get 5 or 6 slides normally, but the
Mm.
last couple of weeks I've used it, it's given me 17, 18 slides on different things. So,
Ooh. Oh,
oh,
that's
it's after giving us
good.
14 slides on load balancing. So, look, we'll just go down. What I'll actually do is show
Show a slideshow.
yeah, just as it's the demo for people looking in. You see, I'm just pulling up the bottom there.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's giving you speakers notes as well. So it's saying here, Azure Load Balancer. Okay, so
Uh,
spelled it correctly. You see that?
yep, that's cool.
Yep. So Azure Load Balancer is a networking solution that enables you to distribute incoming traffic across multiple resources, such as virtual machine scale sets. And this presentation will explore the benefits and features of Azure Load Balancer and how we
Hmm.
can help you scale your application and improve availability. How does that sound to you, Aaron? This pretty
Yeah, it's
impressive.
pretty much the same. Yeah, pretty impressive. I think
Yeah,
that is exactly how it is. I believe this is referring to the existing learn site, Frank, because that this is exactly the same word that is actually used there as well.
in Microsoft Learn, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so look, I'll just click on this slideshow and
Slideshow. Okay.
we'll just
Yeah.
go down. We'll go and go through everything, like, but we'll just see.
From beginning. Hmm.
When I go for the beginning here now, you'll see it normally kind of looks impressive at the start. So we'll just see.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so nice looking first screen introduction to yeah. So the next one, presentation overview. So it's going to tell you, look, basic concept, advanced advanced features, um, real world cases. So yeah, so there's the basic concept. We
Hmm.
walked through the whole lot. Um, load balancer types.
Yeah. Health groups. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cookies. Cookie affinity. Yes.
scalability, distributed systems.
Hmm.
As you were talking about there earlier, the Azure Traffic
The
Manager,
available. Yes. Yes.
geographic location and
Hmm.
proximity. I mean, all the
Hmm.
stuff you were really talking about in your presentation earlier.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, insurance security and monitoring. There's our security network security groups. And the application gateway. So that's the one you're going to do the next time.
Next time, yes. Next session. Yep.
Very good. And there's the importance of monitoring your load balancers, ensure the availability and performance. You were talking about high availability earlier.
Hmm.
So there's our high scalability, high availability. Um, so that's
Not
pretty,
bad.
yeah.
Impressive. Yeah. Impressive. In
So
fact.
give us 14 slides, and our
Mm.
prompt was um, Azure load balancers, and we spelt it with the wrong thing. So that's to put that presentation together. It would take you a good part of your day. So it's
Yeah.
definitely so like if you wanted to put an extra slide in here, you could actually.
Hmm.
You see, it's first when we opened it up, it just gave us
Create a
to
presentation. Yeah.
create a presentation. So now
Yeah.
we can add a slide
Hmm.
about something else if we wanted to put in something about something else to do with load balancers.
Mm.
Um, so
Maybe
we'll
you
just
could, yeah, just probably we could add a slide on the difference between application gateway and Azure load balancer.
okay. The about the difference
Yeah, difference between
between.
Azure load balancer and yeah,
We spell it right this time.
and application gateway.
Application spelled wrong, is it? No. Gateway.
Yep. Gateway. Yep.
So that's it. And we'll hit
Let's
the
see.
send button. We'll see what it comes up with. So almost there. So we have 14 slides at the moment. Okay, so it's sticking in as slide 15. And this is what it came up with. Azure load balance versus application gateway. So Azure
Yep.
load balance is a layer 4 load balancer, while application gateway
It's a low layer 7.
layer 7, and you had that in your presentation earlier.
Yes.
Azure load
Yes.
balance distributes traffic based on the set of rules, while application gateway distributes traffic based on HTTP, HTTPS requests. So it's really kind of takes a lot of work out for you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So and it's all about what prompts you actually put in
Okay.
um, for the actual. I did have a lot of kind of stuff here, but I might go through this next week. Like, what
Okay.
is Copilot? How does it Copilot work? The benefits of using Copilot. Copilot in action. You just saw a flavor of it there with Word and PowerPoint. So look, the future is here. Microsoft Word's Copilot isn't just a tool, it's a partner in writing your writing journey. As we look ahead, the possibilities are endless. Copilot is more than just an assistant, it's a gateway to the new era. So I have lots of these little examples, and maybe next week I might get a chance to go through
Yep.
them and do some more demonstrations on them. Okay, so
Awesome.
very good. So I'll just go back here out to the screen. So yeah, second now. So yeah, Ron, thanks again for coming along and doing that presentation. That was great. So I'm
Thank you,
kind of
Frank.
really excited about Copilot and all the different stuff it can do. I didn't do anything with Excel this evening, but I'm putting together a couple of different Excel sheets that I can ask questions out of Copilot. You need to test them out first before you can actually do the demo.
Okay. Okay.
So we use StreamYard here. Did I tell you about StreamYard?
No.
So if you can see up in the top right hand corner of your screen, we were streaming out to 3 different platforms tonight. We were streaming out through LinkedIn. We were streaming out through YouTube. We were streaming out through X, which is formerly known as Twitter.
Okay.
So
Okay.
sometimes when we're on here, if we have more people and their accounts are connected, I can just show you. They're just I might have a banner that will go across. Yeah. So you can see down. Can you see
Wow.
on the bottom of the screen?
Yes. Yes. So, what is the YouTube channel, by the way, Frank? I
Yeah,
can actually
it's
subscribe.
my YouTube channel. So maybe the next time you're here, do you have a YouTube channel yourself?
No. I would probably subscribe to your channel, Frank. Yeah. If you
Yes.
can give. Yeah.
So like your video will be up on my channel, and I have it
Okay.
here.
Awesome.
It's
Awesome.
also on LinkedIn. So if you need to get a link for
Ah.
to save it for what you done. So like if we had the other guys, some weeks we broadcast out to 3 LinkedIn channels, 3
Okay.
YouTube channels,
Uh huh.
2 X accounts and 1 Facebook. That was our last presentation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we broadcast out to a lot of different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
And what's the
so
YouTube channel name, Frank?
just look up for Frank Falvey.
Frank
Frank,
Falvey. Okay.
Frank Falvey at YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Um, I also have a blog. It's at the end of the screen there, which is frankfalvey.cloud.
Okay.
And a lot of stuff up there about Azure, and going forward, I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff maybe on
Okay.
Copilot in M365. So thanks again, everyone. We're up on the hour and just going to end up the show. I'll be back here again next week at the same time every
Mm-hmm.
week for the Azure and AI show. And I look forward to your second half of the presentation.
Presentation. Yep. Sure. Sure, Frank. Thank you, and see you next week.